Hello everyone. Mr. Ni was getting angry because Shi Guang was spending a lot of time with his mom, and this time she was going for an outing with her mom and her family on New Year's Day. But here the grandmother takes Shi Guang's side and starts scolding her son that because of your divorce, the poor girl is running back and forth. Sometimes she makes her father's family happy, sometimes her mother's. You can't scold her, it's all happening because of you. And then after that Jiang Rui comes, he also meets his grandmother and then leaves with his cousin. In short, Shi Guang's grandparents were very sweet, and his father, Mr. Ni, he was angry with Jiang Rui one day because when he met him, he called him ex-uncle because of his uncle. Well, now New Year's Eve comes, they eat together and see the fireworks. Shi Guang was looking very happy this year. Of course she was very happy. On New Year's Eve, the first message was sent by Yu Sen. On the other hand, Yu Sen was also with his mom. His mom had come to China these days and she was telling him that you are showing some extra smile on your face. You are looking at the phone again and again, something is wrong. Is there any girl who is going to come in your life? When will you introduce me to her? But Yu Sen starts telling him that not at all now because I am not clear myself. And then sitting here, a thought comes to his mind that why not I also give a surprise to Shi Guang after reaching Changbai Mountain. On the other hand, Shi Guang and his family had reached their destination. Here they had done all the planning and had booked a villa for a long time ago, and there was also a tour guide for them. Here they were planning a lot about skiing, and Jiang Rui bothers him a lot and says that when you used to do skiing it looked like a crab. You are very miserable at this time. And it was always the same fight between those two siblings. Here he notices that he gives his phone again and again. He is smiling while looking at his phone, so he leaves his seat and comes to him and says that look how sweet I am. I had given you a window seat. But next to him there was a window and window seat everywhere. He actually wanted to butter him up a little bit and find out who he was talking to on the phone. Well, in the meantime, they reached their villa. Here they had a lot of stuff that they were taking inside. Here he stands in front of his villa and makes a photo of himself, in which his face was also covered. And this is the same photo that he had sent to Yu Sen, saying that I have reached. And he starts thinking as soon as he sees this photo that he has sent me all his coordinates. Now he didn't need to work a little bit to find his resort. Well, the next day he had to go for the first time for the outing. Here he goes and does a lot of things. But it turns out that it is only Jiang Rui who comes for skating or skiing, and the rest of them come for the outing. And the rest of them were completely new to this job. He has to drag all of them himself. And then after that they also go for shopping. Here they were having a lot of fun and enjoying. Yesterday they had to go on the slopes for skiing. So before that they were going to do a little shopping. So Jiang Rui takes Shi Guang with him. Here they go to a shop. Here they take a dress for him and shoes too. This was the main shop there. So to do shopping here, Zhuang Shu was also with his colleagues. And here his dream comes true in front of Jiang Rui and Shi Guang. Shi Guang acts in front of him as if he doesn't know him. But Zhuang Shu says in front of his colleagues that he is Jiang Rui. I am his tutor. Now Jiang Rui also knew that Shi Guang doesn't like him. Seeing this, he starts to feel pain in his heart. Old love awakens. So he wanted these two dreams to come true. He deliberately came in front of him so that he could block his view, and he didn't even see Zhuang Shu. In this way, when he saw Zhuang Shu, he remembers one thing. When he came back from a trip to Europe, then his maid told him that your tutor came looking for you. And I told him that you have gone on a study tour to Europe with your cousin sister. Well, what was Zhuang Shu doing at his home now? We don't know anything about it, but we do know that he came here in the rain. Well, now Jiang Rui was worried. He was worried that Shi Guang's mood might get bad, because his old wounds were always fresh seeing Zhuang Shu. He tries to cheer him up, and he says that it's a treat from me. We go to eat street food, and then along with this he also starts to practice a little bit of skiing, in which he was very bad. And for this practice, Zhuang Shu and his friends had also come. Here Chris says that this is not the same girl who is the cousin of your student. Why don't you take a group photo of us? Now poor Shi Guang was finding this work very difficult, to take a photo in which he was focusing on Zhuang Shu. Jiang Rui understands this and comes to his hand and takes the phone. He makes some photos of them himself. And then after that he starts to tell Zhuang Shu that you make our photo. He gave him Shi Guang's phone to make a photo. And Lin's message appears on that phone, that your work is done, how is your practice going? And as soon as he sees this, Zhuang Shu becomes very sad, and he immediately runs away from there. Now he was also remembering the same day when he came running to Jiang Rui's house, and he was also finding out about Shi Guang. But he found out that she has gone abroad. Then he got the same impression that maybe she has gone there for her higher studies. Well, first Zhuang Shu had forgotten his wounds once. He was a little happy to come there. But as soon as he saw Shi Guang, his wounds were fresh. He started drinking again and looked very sad. He started to cry. Meanwhile, his friends were playing a game. And in that game, he finds out the truth. They asked him that, have you ever dated? And do you like someone? He answered that he never dated anyone. And he drinks on the question of liking. He doesn't answer. Meanwhile, when he was standing alone, Chris comes to him and says that I am a girl and I have an instinct. I can feel it. You like that girl who is your student's cousin. Go and tell her, why are you standing sad here? But he says that it's too late now. When I am worthy of him, he has a boyfriend of his own. He is happy in his life. In the meantime, he passes by and sees Shi Guang. He could have seen him as he sees the moon, but he couldn't get it. And then we find out that it was all Zhuang Fei's trick. He had deliberately planned to send him to the Changbai Mountain, and at the end he made an excuse to get sick himself. He and his mother were left behind. He sent Zhuang Fei to the place where he had met his colleagues. Zhuang Fei says to him, what you did, but don't do this to me. I can fight as much as I want, but I can't get Shi Guang now. He has a boyfriend of his own. On the other hand, Jiang Rui was saying again and again that all of you are so stupid. Practice a little bit of skiing. Now I will teach you all the whole day tomorrow. There is only one instructor. I wish we had another instructor. Well, now Shi Guang goes to his room. He is getting fresh to sleep. You have to pay attention to this. That here he receives a text message from Yu Sen. He sent a photo of him at some place out of the villa. He goes out by wearing his coat as soon as he sees him. It turns out that Yu Sen was standing outside. He had also made a snowman. He gives it to him. This snowman was exactly the same as the photo he had sent him yesterday. Seeing Yu Sen there, Shi Guang feels very happy. But after this, Jiang Rui reaches him and asks who you are meeting at this time. He just does not understand anything else in his mind. She says, you didn't tell me that you were looking for an instructor. I have done my research, and Yu Sen, he wanted an opportunity. He says, yes, absolutely, boss. When will I come tomorrow? She says exactly at 9. But then she thinks, it means that he will stick around with me all day. Follow for more interesting video and subscribe my channel for more video.